Okay, let's get into it. What's happening, traders? Welcome to another video. It's Manuel from LiveFree, and today I'm bringing you another Trader Talk video. Trader Talk is a series that I created on the channel where we talk a little bit about, the journey, right? And, personal development aspect and what it takes to really be successful, and some of the things that you're going to need to start to do in your journey or you should be aware of. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the number one skill that every trader needs in order to be profitable, right? As you start your trading journey, wherever you are, whether you're a new trader or a seasoned trader, it might vary for a lot of you. You might be in the journey, 1 year into it, not seeing the results. You might even be 4 or 5 years into it and still not seeing anything. And this skill that I want to share with you, it's something that is so crucial to develop because, in the trading game, we talk about the technicals, we talk about the psychologicals, right? But the number one skill that is needed is the skill of perseverance, your ability to push through during difficult times. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, the journey is easy or the journey is hard. I think one of the reasons why you guys are here or part of the family of LiveFree that we've created is the authenticity and just the honest reality of the truth that we share here. And the brand is not telling you, hey, you can come in here and yes, you can make some fast money. But the reality is it takes time, and you have to give yourself some time. You have to put the work in. But before you get through that, it's really important that as you are going through your journey, you really understand that your dreams are waiting for you. Whatever goal you have is waiting for you, and you can't give up. When I started my trading journey, I was, 19 years old. I just dropped out of college. Technically, I finished, but I was looking to go into something else, right? And, criminal justice and do all of that. And, the goal was to make $100,000 a year. And at the time, I was like, this would be fantastic. But I knew that I needed a little bit more, and I wanted a little bit more. And when I found trading, I kind of felt like, okay, you know what, this is it. This is that little bit more that I wanted. And I think a lot of the time, a lot of us in life, we experience this desire for more. We experience this desire for freedom. And you look at avenues like trading, and then you're like, okay, you know what, it can provide me with the resources and with the freedom that I need. But then you run into the roadblocks, right? 6 months in, or maybe even 3 months in, you've made a little bit of money. You're like, oh yes, this is what I'm going to be doing. And then the roadblock is you blowing the account, losing your funds. And then it's like, okay, you're faced with the crossroad of either quitting or, continuing to push forward. And that was something that I had to constantly overcome in my journey, because I'm not going to sit here and say I never quit. Right? A lot of people are going to tell you, I just stayed I quit. I quit this journey many times, probably more times than I can count, to be honest. But I quit for a day, and sometimes I quit for a week, and maybe sometimes I quit for a month. But I always found a way to get back to it. And one of the main things that helped me in pushing forward is looking at where I am, where I want to be, and what it's really going to take. And understanding the options that you have in life. If we're being real, yes, there's a lot of vehicles that can make you millions if you have the right connections or if you have the right people. For me, trading was one of the main vehicles that I had. So really being able to push through and really being able to not quit, that was the only thing. There was no plan B. So as you're going through your journey, right, ask yourself this question: what is next for you, right? If you quit trading today, is there something that you would love to absolutely go do, right? Is there something that would be very beneficial for you that you can literally just forget about trading? If that's the case, then maybe it's not for you, right? But for those of you who are like, this is it, this is all I got, and this is what I'm willing to sacrifice, you have to do that, right? You have to follow that path. One of my favorite books, The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, talks about the story of Santiago, I believe that's his name, kid who, goes in search of treasure, in Egypt. And I highly recommend that book. And one of the things I love about that book is it showed me the importance of following your personal journey, right? Giving it everything you got. And if it doesn't work out, something better will come. And one of the main things I always told myself before I experienced or I decided that, I was going to quit or I was going to stop trading for a little bit when I would lose money or when I would, I wasn't feeling connected to it, is if I keep going down this path, if I keep giving it my best shot and I don't make it, something else will come. And that's exactly what I'm telling you, right? So the skill that you need to develop is the skill of pushing forward, is the skill to push through any obstacles that you experience. Because if you can do that, right, your dreams are waiting for you, right? In life, it's not about how much money you make that makes one happy. It's how much freedom that you have. There's a study that was done which shows, people who are happier in life have more control of your time. And I was working my job, as a personal trainer. It was a great job. I enjoyed it. But I think I got to a point where I was like, you know what, man, I have no control of my time, not in the way that I wanted, right? I still have to show up every day. I still have to clock in and someone still had to pay me, and I just knew that there was more out there. There's a story of two lions, right? You got one lion in a cage, right? Or let's say in a zoo, gets 3 meals a day, right? Well fed, right? Maybe, a little playing area from time to time. And then you have another lion out in the safari. That lion might not eat 3 meals a day, might eat 3-4 meals, here and there, once a week or whatever, right? But what that lion is experiencing in the safari is freedom, more connected to his instincts, following, the natural path that life is created for him or her, right? But the lion in the zoo gets fed, but at the same time, there's always something missing. And I think a lot of us sometimes, especially at a time like this right now where things are tough, things are difficult, financially, the whole world is like, a lot of us look for safety, right? And it's easy when you're looking for safety to get to a point where you've gotten comfortable and you feel like that trapped lion getting fed 3 meals a day. Still, your needs are being met, but your desire for more is reaching out. So for me, it was just more of that hunger, maintaining that hunger and, pushing through the journey and the ups and downs. And when you experience the ups and downs, it's very difficult. So for me, it was more of like just pushing through and really not quitting, and there were days where, like I said, I wanted to quit. But the journey is a beautiful thing. The journey is a beautiful thing. And I think I've been doing this for 9 years now. And the raw reality of the game is it's not going to be easy, right? This is the one thing. We live in a society where everybody thinks it's easy, right? Everybody wants it now. But that's not how it works. That's if it was easy, everybody would be driving that Lambo, everybody would be driving that Porsche, everybody would be driving, all your dream cars, and those things wouldn't be worth anything, right? So you have to understand that the path that you're on is very few people can walk down that path. And that's what makes you special, right? And that's what makes you just a brutal animal, because that's really what it's going to take, right? Because most people are just not capable of doing that, right? So if you're on this journey and you feel like, man, when am I gonna get it? When am I gonna start living the life? When am I gonna be able to pay for my girlfriend to go on that trip or take my mom, to Dubai or wherever the place is? Understand that you got to push through, right? And you have to not quit when the going gets tough and create a plan for yourself. Of course, it's important to get the right education, focus on the technical aspect, get a mentor, psychology, be a part of a good community. Those are all things that are going to help you. Finding great people, building a good support network. But the underlying factor is you, right? Your ability to continue down the path when you see absolutely nothing. You saw there's this in the Bible, it says walk by faith and not by sight, and that's always been how I've lived my life, where a lot of the time it's like creditors were calling, debts were high. And I just got to a point where I was like, you know what? I'm not going to let any of this stress me. I'm not going to let any of this bother me. I'm just going to keep, because what's the alternative, right? I say, okay, you know what? I'm just going to fall into this path because that society beats you down and tries to shove you into a narrow path and keeps you there. And if you let it, right? So my advice to you is don't let it, because life is long, but at the same time, it's also short. And at the end of your life, you want to make sure that when your time comes, you say, shit, I did everything. I walked through every door that I possibly wanted to walk through to see what was inside. And, I'm grateful for that, right? And that's what the journey is. So, ladies and gentlemen, my advice, with today's Trader Talk is to, keep pushing. And regardless of what the results you're seeing, focus on getting better. But if you're thinking at that point, where shit, you want to quit, you feel like, you're not seeing that breakthrough that you really want, ask yourself if you're giving it your best shot, if you're actually trying, right? And if you can answer that question wholeheartedly, which I had to do at times. And before I had my breakthrough, I sat down and I was like, Manuel, are you giving it everything you possibly can? And the answer was no. The answer was no. I wasn't doing everything that I could. And, when you're doing your best, you feel it. It's like you feel it. And sometimes it's even tougher when you still lose, right? Because that can still happen. But in the end, you will win. And that's really what it's all about. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's Emmanuel from LiveFree FX, and I'm cheering for each and every one of you. I wanted to do a Trader Talk today to just let you know the journey is a good one. It's a fun one. It's simple in terms of knowing where you have to be, where you are, and how to get where you need to be. But the in-betweens, the process, the roadblocks that you're going to encounter, the obstacles that you're going to encounter, the falls that you're going to take, that's really the entire journey. And nobody talks about that. No one's going to tell you how to pick yourself up when you fall. And that's the most important part of the journey, picking yourself up. And you might have to pick yourself up more than once, multiple times, right? And, my advice is to keep picking yourself up and to keep pushing and, develop the skill. And if you develop the skill, whether you become a successful trader or not, you will be able to transfer this to anything in life, whether it's entrepreneurship, whether it's, fitness, anything that you want to do. If you don't quit, you are unstoppable. There's absolutely nothing you cannot achieve, right? And that's the separating factor between those people who win, the trader who are profitable, and the traders who aren't. And ladies and gentlemen, I want each and every one of you to be as profitable or more profitable than your ideal or the biggest trader that you possibly know. So keep going, keep pushing. I'm cheering for each and every one of you. Thanks for watching. Till next time, live free.